take my fucking socks off.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna get comfy. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
You take them off.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the No Small Talk podcast. We're here with Bags. What's up, man? So we did this once before already, and you're gonna play that off. Talked about a lot of shit too. But basically, I mean, tell us who you are for the people that don't know. I guess what do you write?
Bagel.
What cruise you in?
Well, I don't write anymore.
Right.
Well, I mean, I see my will. Again, just not like up, just paint more.
Yeah. So what cruise did you start in? Like, what were the first cruise that you?
I went from MK to Mischief Kids back in '93, and then from there, I guess from there I went to AAK. Like fourth or fifth generation.
What was the fucking like initiation into these?
I'm not sure what the original, if there was one. I had originally asked like Pino, and he was just like, yeah, all right, we'll just keep getting up. And
Were there any like stipulations for like what kind of getting up they wanted to see? Like,
oh yeah, I guess all city. And there was at one point, I wasn't. We were hanging out like a bunch of us, and they had a shitload of 40 ounces. And,
those were the days.
Yeah. And he noticed that a few of us weren't really drinking, and he was like, "Y'all want to be down with AAK? What the hell you think the first AA stands for?"
Alcoholics Anonymous. That's funny.
But
who was saying that?
Pino.
Yeah, of course.
I guess I'm guessing he didn't originally like want me in, or
There's some kind of animosity.
Like, no, not really. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I can't speak for him, but we were cool. Just we never really had like any beef or anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like Rob.
You think you had improved yourself, some shit in his eyes or something? Like,
I don't think I had, and I don't think I had. I'm sure, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just assumed,
Yeah.
I write, so why can't I write for y'all? I've seen
Right.
some of the guys y'all let in. Come on. It wasn't until Rob's I'm not saying he was in charge of initiation. I mean, admittance or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was the one who was like, fuck all that. Just go ahead and just write it. So I did. And I hooked up with Hate in Northside AAK.
Yeah.
And so me and him would like get up. But that didn't last too long.
AK.
Well, me riding with him.
Oh, and
I ended up joining my cousin with Methods, 817 Methods.
yeah.
That was no problem. That was just, that was a different like flow too, because like all the other crews were like more like thuggish, or they had a lot of like real street.
Yeah.
And I was like, I grew up a skater. I really wasn't too banger or nothing.
Yeah.
But Methods were like just like all like your stereotypical hip hop. They had breakers. They were down with like DJs and stuff.
All mediums.
Yeah.
So hip hop.
So I felt like it was a better fit. So I went ahead and just left. And when I did, there was a little bit of animosity, I guess. Robs was kind of pissed off. But around that time anyway, him and Detail had started DTK. So it wasn't like, they were, they had their own thing going. They didn't need me.
Yeah. Nah, would you say there's like some kind of like when you're in these crews, like, is it like a brotherhood, like family, or everyone just writes and does their own thing, or?
I do feel like there are brotherhood, or it feels like there was more of a everybody in each crew had their own. Everybody was cool with everybody. And no matter what crew, even in crews I'm in now, I always feel like the odd man. Like we're cool, they're cool with me, but I'm not as close to them as they are with each other. And it's been like that in every crew.
What do you kind of like set a barrier, like a boundary? Like,
No, I don't think it's me. Well, yeah. There's a lot of stuff I don't want to listen to. I don't want to have to, hang out with or put up with. So I'm just like, all right, y'all do you.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'll still, but I just,
I guess that's the dope thing about graffiti too. Is like you don't need anyone.
Yeah. You could be one, but I always thought that it was kind of toy or lame to be, on your own.
Right. Right, but as far as like just fucking when you're painting and stuff, just like to go paint and whatever, like,
I prefer being on my own anyway. Whenever I went out, because
you prefer it.
It's quieter, and I can pay attention. I can watch. I know I got to watch my own back, so I watch my own back. I'm not like, oh, he's got it. All right, cool, and then he doesn't got it.
Right? You know what I mean? Yeah, they're fucking.
We've gotten chased off. I've been chased or ran into a couple of times because of that.
Yeah,
you're right with people, and they're too busy watching you paint. It's like, no, watch the opposite direction.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Yeah. No, it definitely happens. Fucking, a lot of people just go out there without, I guess, knowing really what they're doing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were skateboarding and shit. Like, did you feel like the just that influenced a different style in your graffiti?
No.
Like, and as opposed to coming from a hip hop background, what was influencing you? I guess as far as your style, you were saying.
I don't know about influence. I knew that I liked the 3D, the whole twisted 3D look.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to like emulate it or most of the times couldn't do it, properly the way I liked it.
Right.
So I figured if I just took that and just throw in some wild style, therefore it's got those elements of that look, but it's still, my own. That's what I just would try to do that.
Yeah, because you're really heavy into, I guess, the real technical.
Yeah. I prefer like a huge like twist 3D sort of, but with a wild style still.
Yeah.
I like when the letters are all like interlocked with each other. I'm not too into like,
just separate.
A letter, because it reminds me of like PlayStation, or I mean not PlayStation, but like Photoshop, where you take off a layer and go back, and it takes away, and that first letter's gone. It takes away, and that second letter's gone. It's just like I prefer it to be all like, oh well, that one strand that went through all the
that's a piece of the other one and everything.
I mean, I understand like straight letters and whatnot, but I mean like a wild style where you can still tell that they're.
It's just like
they did this one first, then they did this one. They didn't do half of this one and bring it over this way and build the second one out of that.
You like some thought behind it.
I guess, yeah. I've always appreciated, growing up, or when I first started, there was like Maze. He had this like style that was like bars that went behind and in front of each other, and this letter cocked off to make half of this other letter. But it was still like uniformed and you could read it. I thought that's what graffiti was. That's what a piece was supposed to look like. Like that was my idea of a good piece. I always thought that Maze, AAKCML had a sick piece style.
Where are they from?
Who?
Who'd you say, Maze?
Maze. M-A-Z-E.
Where is he from? Down here?
Yeah, the Southside Fort Worth.
Oh, word. Cool. Would you say like you drew influence from like different? Because there's like, I guess, New York style, there's Philly styles, like LA.
I like the Philly hand styles. I always thought it was sick how they had their own structure where you were a guy, you were a writer, you just started, you had like a mentor or whatever. He had you in a book, practicing, and until he said you were good enough to touch a marker and go out, you didn't. And if you did, whatever. I always thought that was sick. I hated that we didn't have that, or that, it didn't pick up over here that way.
Yeah, I can see that. Like the beginning of graffiti, like a lot of people hit tags, and it was real simple. Just like, I mean, it didn't even look like graffiti. I guess at a certain point, like just like regular handwriting on. Yeah,
it was kind of like I like a good, with a fat cap, cursive looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Cursive looks pretty sick with a fat cap.
Yeah, some cursive. But, because I remember in these movies seeing like the old New York shit. What was it?
Yeah, Talkie 183.
Yeah, and just those tags, it's just like some simple shit.
It was just illegible everywhere.
Is it just not challenging for you to like do the simple stuff?
Hand styles, yeah, I like hand. I like simple hand styles. I like a good looking hand style, one that doesn't look like, you know, I don't know, just something clean.
Right.
Also, yeah, a crazy hand style is good. A nice plain, but with just, I don't know, something about it that's just simple, but you can tell that, oh, that guy's got style. Just even though it's simple, you can tell that guy could really do something.
When you're like
detail, like we didn't we had beef, but I've always liked his hand style. He's had it was so simple, but it was so
still had some flavor to it.
Whether he just had a straight L at the end or brought it all the way and then put that one line underneath or curved it around. The way that he had like a D that was a star and then a TEL.
Yeah.
I always liked his hand styles.
Yeah.
I thought those shits were dope. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's like simple like that. It was just still clean and good.
Do you care if, because you know, writers, you kind of learn to be able to tell what something says, like these crazier hand styles, like, and the public, the regular people, like sometimes it's like, what does that say?
Yeah, chicken scratch.
Yeah, type shit. Like, do you care at all for it to even appeal to?
No, if I felt good doing it, if it flowed out of my hand and it looks like how I think it should look, I don't care if the next guy can read it. This is like, you know, you can't read it, but you've seen it several times. You know that's his. You've seen it several times. You still can't really read it, but you know that guy.
It's like a signature type shit.
Yeah, that's, I couldn't care if people who don't, they're not going to like it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, because I guess that even goes into like just like promoting your own art like to the public and shit. Like
if they could see it that way, but they won't. They just see it as just vandalized. Even over the little town that I live in, I've had several people just be like, graffiti, I hate that. It just destroys everything. It just makes everything look ugly. And I'm just like, put your cowboy hat on, buddy.
Would you rather see a neighborhood crushed than graffiti?
No.
No?
I appreciate the downtown where a neighborhood's just clean. There's nothing. You know, you might have a few tags on like the metal boxes or fence posts or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, just like straight up every store has a piece or it's throw up. No.
Yeah.
But once we get downtown, rooftops killed. Yeah, that's awesome. Alleys, just every kind of type of graffiti. Yeah, I like seeing that kind of stuff.
Is it just the aesthetic of it? Just
I think so. The buildings and then just the coldness of just a city with trash floating and
just feel
cars
raw.
And business people walking by, have no idea, don't even care, but they're just going on. Meanwhile, there's a story being told behind them. Yeah, I like that.
Have you been out to like New York?
No. We almost squatted out that way, but we ended up just coming back. It was too cold. It was around November in like 97. And we were just like, yeah, you know what? We're going to be out there. It's just not going to work.
Have you ever traveled and done graffiti anywhere else?
Well, yeah. I used to with a friend of mine, but he wasn't a rider. Hitchhike and catch trains, you know, just jump on a freight train and ride it out to like near Houston or...
Yeah. How was that like? Like, how do you know where the fuck it's going? Or?
He knew a guy that was at I don't know. He'd call somebody and he'd say, and they'd be like, "Yeah, okay. Well, you want this one, this number." So we knew what number to look. He knew what number to look for. If not, then at the time you just walk up to the conductor at the train and just be like, "Hey, I'm trying to get to Houston." Yeah, and sometimes they'd be like, "Oh no, you don't ride these. Get out of here. Get out of here."
Yeah.
That was sometimes. A good lot of the times though, they'll be like real cool and be like, we're not going there directly. We're stopping in like one time we stopped in Hearn, Texas. When you get off the 2 tracks to the right, there's going to be, that one's going out the way. Go ahead and jump in the second engine. You know, don't touch anything. There's some waters in there and shit.
Word?
Yeah. These have this little flip the foil in the water.
What the fuck?
That shit was dope.
That's crazy. I would have never imagined that.
Yeah. This was around 97.
I doubt they're still that cool.
No, I doubt it. Even after 9/11.
Yeah.
Terrorists and all that bullshit. Man, Trump and
When's the last time you jumped on a train? What year was that?
I accidentally rode one.
Accidentally?
Yeah.
How the fuck is it?
I was trying to go.
I'm on a train.
I was trying to get from that cemetery on, I guess it's Beach and 28th. I'm not sure if that's Beach.
The one by the bridge?
No, Sylvania or Riverside.
The one by the bridge.
Yeah. The one by the bridge. The one that goes underneath the bridge behind the cemetery.
I wrecked my car on that bridge.
I don't know what I was doing. I was probably painting on 28th Street and had walked my way up towards Haltom City where I was living at the time.
Yeah.
And I knew that train track goes right through Haltom City, and I would have just jumped off there. But by the time we got into Haltom City, it was already doing like 70, and I wasn't able to drop off. So I had to stay on it until we got to about Roanoke, and then he stops, and I'm just like screwed.
Yeah. So have you ever, I guess, like ran and tried to catch a train?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Doing that shit.
Yeah. One time, me and the homie Rims were out just squatting, and I got on the train first, right there by a little bit past between that road that goes by where the old Swift buildings are. You know how it goes, and then there's that train bridge going towards...
Where at? Swift building? Where are these?
The Swift buildings. Everybody in Cowtown. The people used to paint at all the time.
Oh, okay.
The slaughterhouse.
Gotcha. Slaughterhouse.
All right, well, back out that way, that train bridge, that's all like this.
Right.
We're catching a train into downtown, and I jumped on it, and I got my shit first, and he, I guess, hadn't been doing it too long, so he was just trying to do what I did, but he couldn't, and he jumped on it, but his leg slipped, and he almost fell out, and I grabbed him by the shirt, and I'm trying to pull on him.
Yeah.
If I let go, he would have gone under the...
Fucking dead.
Yeah, basically.
That's crazy.
So
close call.
That was a close call. I've had a few close calls.
That was another one.
This was on that billboard on 28th and Pearl, that real tall one. I was climbing up there with fire, and as soon as I got up there, I'm just shaking my can, looking at the spot I'm going to paint. I'm not looking at the floor. The billboards have like 2 or 3 boards of like a walkway.
Yeah.
And then there's like about this much of a gap in between the board and the actual the little path that you got, that little walkway, bridge or whatever. And all this is just nothing. You're going to fall. I'm just walking. I'm not even looking. I take my step and fall right through it. My shoulder hits I fall and my shoulder hits the floor. Yeah. I drop my can. I'm holding on by one hand. He runs up and tries to pull me up or pulls me up, but it was kind of hell because it was...
You were heavy set?
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't heavy set, but it was, all my weight. And we were up there, and he only had like this much room to stand on. He got me up, and I was like, I caught my breath and whatever, and I went back down, climbed the ladder, got my can, because I was going back up. Fucking, when it hit, the tip fell off, and that was the only one I had that night. So I was just like, fuck, dude. Almost died for nothing.
Yeah, so you're up there and you can't even...
Yeah. So I was just mad.
Walk of shame.
Yeah, luckily he lived too far from there, so I just walked back to his house and went to sleep.
Did you ever go back, Redemption?
Yeah, well, yeah. That was that 28th Street, that 28th and Pearl billboard, we used to hit all the time.
Yeah. Did you like it in billboards? Like
yeah, billboards I preferred. I had a couple of not nice, like the pieces weren't nice, but the water towers were, the fact that...
Yeah, I used to hit those fucking water towers. That's what's up.
That was fun.
I remember seeing the one here in Diamond Hill.
Yeah, the one in Diamond Hill. That was like the second one. That was when I thought, I'm going to start doing water towers. After I got the one in Northside.
All the water towers.
In downtown. Off the Main Street Bridge. Remember those 2 smokestacks used to be? There was a water tower there in the middle. We climbed up that one night, and there was... We'd sit there and we'd just watch, like, the cop vans. I guess they were transit vans taking people from, like, I guess Green Bay to downtown or whatever. And that's all we saw all that night was just a bunch of vans.
Yeah.
I was told that the next morning or whatever, the bridge was not shut off, but there was a huge just crowd of just, like, cops and people just taking pictures.
Of what? Of
that water tower.
Oh, word? That's cool.
Yeah, but this is before, like, we... took a lot of pictures of stuff, so I never went back.
Yeah.
For,
what do you prefer hitting? Like as far as like
Anything rooftops, second stories.
those heavens.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily like freeways,
Yeah.
but buildings. If I have to climb to get to it, I like that. I appreciate that because I know that lazy ass buffers aren't going to climb to get up to it. You know what I mean? They will, but it's going to be a while. Or
yeah, they might hurt themselves in the process.
Yeah. But that was my favorite, having to climb stuff.
Yeah.
Or having to figure out how I'm getting up there.
Yeah, I mean, shit, you gotta be. Would you say you were kind of fit? You were able.
Yeah,
to,
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I skated all the time, so.
Hey, yeah, that's a fucking big workout.
So
You didn't drink? Were you like straight edge or what?
No.
You were smoking?
Yeah, but not like regularly. Not like I was in my 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
But no, as a teen, I don't know. I would do drugs when there was drugs, nothing hard, you know what I'm saying? Not like crack or nothing. But mostly I just wanted to skate, and what I hated about weed is like it kept me from skating because I'd be all tired and didn't want to do it. Yeah, so I was like, for the longest time, didn't like weed.
Yeah. How do you feel about it, like when you're drawing and shit?
I don't see the difference. You know what I mean?
No.
Like people are like, oh, you get more motivated or more creative, but
you don't think it ever
it's all the
affected
same
your
to me.
creative process?
No.
Like,
if anything, it took it longer because I'd sit there and be like, all right, where's that green pencil I was using? And
then I'd have to go everything. Go into the other room, like, why am I in here?
Yeah, no. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm stoned. Wow, I'm drawing all this crazy stuff.
So you wouldn't have like a ritual, like, I'm gonna sit down to draw. I'm gonna sit down to draw I got a blunt roll, I got my fucking Kratom tea.
No.
I turn on the TV. I turn on product placement. I need my own brand. Like all this fucking shit, and then like, all right, no.
No, I got more of a ritual now where it's like, all right, I got my TV on with my movie or whatever I'm watching.
Yeah.
Got my game ready to go. All right, let me take a couple of shots. All right, now let's play.
Do you think is that like you just need to be stimulated in multiple to kind of distract you and be able to focus almost? Mm-hmm. Which is kind of, I guess, contradicting to say like distracted but focusing. I don't know, because
the extra distractions keep me focused. Otherwise, Otherwise, my brain just starts, you're worthless.
It starts wandering
She don't want you. All that shit. It's just like
stupid bitch. I guess that's definitely why I do it. But I guess I need a lot more got a lot more voices in there. I don't know. I think like part of what affects some of like what my art and shit is like being so scatterbrained. Like I'll start an idea and then I get another idea and I just jump on that. Like, is that how you are? Like, as far as, do you sit down and finish something?
No. Whatever I am painting, paintbrush with canvases. Yeah. I'll start one and then have some paint left over and start another one. So now I've got two going, or maybe three.
Is it because you had another idea in the middle
Not
of that?
Not so much. It's just I had some paint left over that I didn't want to waste, so I'd go ahead and get started.
Okay.
So I'd see what comes out of this one while this one's drying. Then I'd like something coming on this way, so I'll go ahead and add a little bit more to something going on here, or think, okay, you know what, if I add this will be cool. Yeah. Meanwhile, this one's ready to go, so I'll get back onto this one. I got some extra paint. Well, let me go ahead and just throw this over here that I wasn't.
And you're kind of just freestyling the whole time.
Yeah. It's rare that I've actually like sketched something out, with a painting and been like, this is what I want it to look like, or this is what. No.
A lot of people think like, I guess you need a concept.
Some people
or
do.
something.
Some people do, and that works for them. If I think it's supposed to look a certain way, I'm real let down when it doesn't.
Right.
So I figured, now let me just go ahead and whatever it comes out as, it's better than that blank piece that was sitting there.
Yeah. Well, have you heard of shit like people say like the muse?
Yeah.
Like you just gotta fucking sit there and it'll just start coming.
Right.
Type shit. Do you think that has any?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different things. Like I'll take some paint and just paint. Just green over here, blue over here, red over here, yellow over here. And then I'll look at it and be like, oh, that looks like there's
start
there's
seeing
kind of
stuff
a
in there.
face there. So then I'll go ahead and start.
See, that's interesting because I've always seen faces in just like wood grain.
Yeah,
and
me
like
too.
you know shit like that. And I just have like early memories of like being at my grandma's in Mexico and like sitting there taking a shit, and the fucking door is a wood grain door, and it's got little holes here and shit. And I'm just seeing these faces and stuff, and like that's kind of I guess how I get to drawing some characters and stuff is you start tracing these lines you're seeing in the.
Yeah, we had some at my house or my mom's house when I grew up. In the restroom where it looked like Batman. And because it was wood grain, it had, the next one and the next one and the next one. So it looked like different, like, levels of Batman. Like, this is when he was, like, 4. This is when he was, like, 7.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I wonder how, like, that works. Why, I guess, certain people's brains just fucking...
Yeah, you just see things.
Yeah.
It's because you're crazy.
Yeah, that's right. But I think you got to have a certain craziness to really be, I guess, I don't know, the best creatives I've always seen. Like, there's some kind of loose screw in there.
Yeah, like I told you earlier, I prefer weirdos when it comes to artists and graph writers. I prefer the weirdos instead of the hip-hop heads or the...
Yeah. So you've been, like, around for a while. How have you seen, like, the state of graffiti change, like, like the people doing it, the how widespread it is, how pop culture it's become almost, and
well, I can't say nothing specifically about the people doing it because I don't really mess with too many people or really interested in what they do have got going on. I do think that the easier access and more abundance of low pressure paint and just a shitload of different kinds of tips.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Totally just made things a lot easier. Because back then you had 2, maybe 3 kinds of paint tops: Krylon, Rusto, and Belton if you can get it.
Which one was your go-to?
Krylon.
Krylon?
Yeah, my ultimate favorite was flat black Krylon with German thin tip.
How old is this? Is this...
That's going to be late 90s.
Late 90s?
Yeah, because they'd already started this square, the what you call it here?
Before it was
before
just
that,
the circles,
it was the actual
right?
circles.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then, back then, you only had, like, maybe 4 tips. 4 tips to choose from tops. And they were all males. New York Thins, or New York Skinnies, New York Fats, Germans, and Rustos. And then you could probably get a jumbo, but that was back then. That was a waste of paint.
And these tips are all different strokes, right? Like different thicknesses.
Yeah. Outlines. The German thin, though, I thought was universal because if you did fast enough and close enough, it was really thin, and if you held it out, further enough, it was it flared out.
Yeah. What would you say is the New York Fat, basically?
No. German thin.
Yeah,
what was a New York
the
Fat?
saying, like, because I feel that way, I guess, about New York Fats is you can get those thin lines, right? That's the cap, right?
I never got too... I got drips if I tried to get a thin line with a New York Fat.
With the New York Fat. Putting it on a Rusto? Or what?
Yeah.
Or are you putting it on?
Fats?
Like these four that
the only thing I used on Rusto was the Rusto Fat.
Just
the little white one with the orange tip that it whistled when you sprayed with it.
Did you need an adapter for those?
No. Back then you didn't need any kind of... That's what I'm saying.
That was just that was before adapters.
Way before adapters. This is before they had female cans or male cans with female tips.
Yeah, it is crazy how that whole...
I don't even know why they did that. I don't know if that was
some kind of selling fucking...
I don't know. Bro. I just... Once that happened, though, kind of Krylon... As soon as that did happen, Krylon just went... It was like this.
Well, and then they fucking changed it into these chisel caps they do now.
Those... If you knew how to use them, though, there was like a calligraphy cap. It was
right, yeah,
good.
but like for fucking... I just want to fucking circle shit,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just always thought it was kind of fucking whack how they changed it all into those. What was I gonna say? You seen those tips where they fucking shoot out like just fucking almost just splatters.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking. They have some like brush ones now that emulate brush strokes and shit.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
Have you fucked with
they
any
have
of
so
that?
many different tips. No, really, I
Do you
haven't.
care to?
I really haven't. No.
No, it don't interest
No.
you. Like,
If I did want that, then I would just get like
yeah.
what do you call it? WD-40 tip with a straw. That would give the same effect.
Yeah. Do you think you're still evolving in your styles?
I think I'm just on hold, just muted, paused.
not really
Whether I
looking
come in and
to-
press play again, I don't know. If I do, yeah, I got a
'Cause,
lot of
like,
ideas. And
is
stuff I
it
wanna try
something
to
you
do.
think about whenever you're sitting to sketch or paint or whatever? Like I'm gonna try something different, or do you stick to like kind of what you know and you're comfortable with?
For now, whenever I do try to sketch here these days, I do kind of just stick to what I know, and then
Is it because I guess you realize maybe it's gonna take a little more time to fucking to get that out? I guess to experiment and find something.
no, I never really was intimidated by time.
No.
Yeah. If it takes a lot of time, then it takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Would you say? I guess you're patient.
When it comes to that kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I prefer acrylic paint brush and not oil because oil takes too damn long to dry.
To dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
So how long did it take you to finish a piece? Like,
An actual piece?
I guess, man, it's just fucking unlocked the memory too. I thought about the first one, how you fucking used to have those, I think it was from you. I would see those scrolls.
Yeah.
Those fucking scrolls. Because we were talking about the black books and everything. I was like, this motherfucker used to have long ass fucking scrolls.
Somebody gave me a leftover roll of like printer paper.
And it was just
And it was just blank roll. So I would just roll it out some and sketch on it. And I still have that original one that I had.
Did you do a lot of those, or you just got it at one time?
I just got that one, and then I started a bigger one. That thing that I gave you that I cut out, the circle, that came out of one.
Out of a scroll?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was sick. It was like the only time I've seen that. Like, fucking. Have you seen other people do it?
No.
No?
No, I just always thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I would draw scrolls. You know what I mean? You draw like a scroll and then do your homies' names and stuff.
Yeah.
So then I thought, well, why don't you piece in a scroll? That'd be a dope black book because it's a scroll.
That'd be cool, like, to have some, like, how this fucking little cherry blossom thing is a fucking, just like, I guess, as, like, wall art and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, those no, it's just like opening your book and sketching and then closing it. You just roll it out some, sketch.
Did you ever incorporate the stuff to go kind of like a sleeve, a sleeve tattoo? You slowly started incorporating.
After I got a certain amount of it done, I noticed that it was just piece, or sketch, piece, different ones. So then there'd be days where instead of sketching on it, I would just do background that would kind of tie the rest of them in, or just look like it was all flowing together.
Yeah. How's the learning curve for you? Learning, I guess, to I don't know, because like personally, I guess I developed like say some letter structure and shit first, but with the coloring, I'm still like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Some shit ends up nice, and it was by accident. Would you say you have like, what was your learning process like, I guess, as far as like, you nailed letter structure first, or like, and how, I guess, did you get there? Were you like studying other people's letter structures? And
at first, I guess maybe I was. I'd get black books, from like at Metro at high school when I went to.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of KTK kids there, and MOK.
And you would check their stuff out.
Yeah.
See what they were doing.
Or I'd look at their books that had a bunch of people from Southside in it. And I just.
What year was this?
96.
96. So it was still before social media and
Yeah,
stuff.
way before social media.
Yeah. What do you prefer? Like, would you say is your strong suit? And like the coloring, the structure.
I think the structure, because coloring, sketching, and drawing, it's a lot easier to color and experiment with colors. With spray paint, though, I just felt it was easier just to do an all silver or all black with like a red outline. I prefer that kind of stuff as long as the structure was more the. You know what I mean? I always felt like you could hide a shitty fucking letter structure with some elaborate color scheme.
Exactly.
Matching color scheme, or everybody's got the same thing. It's like, oh, that's cool, but it's just crap, but no one's going to say nothing.
Yeah, because it looks pretty.
Whereas I feel like I could do some plain ass, just silvers. And
and flex with your style.
Yeah. With a couple of little details here and there just to, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I would say, like, I drew a lot of influence from your shit, and I noticed that's why I'm not good at coloring. Is because I would just fucking do the solid fills and focus on my letters and shit. Like, I would see your letters, and I'm like, I want to fucking do letters like that. Like, that's fucking sick. Just... it's challenging to the brain and shit.
Yeah.
It's scratched my tism.
Right. I think my favorite part about it is, whether you're drawing or painting them, is doing the 3D or 3D. Filling in the.
Are you saying like the 3D drops?
Yeah, all this black here.
Yeah.
All that was I love doing, filling it in, because it kind of like. It's like, oh yeah, I knew that was gonna look like that.
It brings it. It kind of brings it. Yeah. Yeah. You see, like, I don't know, fucking, just how you color and stuff, like these, what makes you fucking be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put the fucking tape here and fucking. That's just. Put it where it lands.
Yeah. Put it where it lands mostly, or put where the first one lands, and then from there I'll just be like, okay, I'll just square that off.
Yeah.
And a couple of rectangles on
and
the other side.
And you're just starting to see shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then once that's done...
And that's what I'm talking about. That's the muse, dude. That's the muse. Just like fucking, you're channeling the fucking ethereal knowledge, dude. I don't know, but that's just fucking crazy. Because that shit doesn't come to me. Like, just like the colors and stuff, like, it'll just... I don't know. So it's fucking cool as fuck to see.
For the longest time, though, like, I'll be honest, between 2015 on up to about 2020, maybe 2022.
Yeah.
When it came to colors, I would just ask the guy who does all my tattoos. I would just be like, all right, I'd send him a picture of what I've already got colored and be like, what's going to go with that? And he would just tell me, try a red or a blue, or, and then just do it.
Well, because... You're telling me that you're self-taught, and is this purely through experimentation, like hands-on, or did you, of course you mentioned like studying some of the peers, but were you also studying any kind of like theory and coloring, like complementary colors and shit like that?
It wasn't until later on, when I learned how to use color wheel properly, that I was able to go ahead and just be like, all right, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. It says it here, it's going to work, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I just went with that. I'd see like abstract paintings, like oils or whatever, just where it's just splattered here.
Yeah.
Like, I love those colors together. And then I would just use those.
When the pieces that I have been like satisfied that I color, I'll see color palettes and like, say one that I remember is Fanta had came out with a new flavor, and I saw like the advertisement, and like they got this blue and working with this green and this orange or whatever, and I'll like take a picture of that, and I'm like, I'm gonna use that color palette type shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just something that worked for me.
I do that. One time last time I was at the airport, I was in line behind this girl who had this I forget the colors in their backpack, but it was just, I liked the way they looked, so I took my phone out, took a picture as close as I could to the, so I didn't look like I was taking a picture of her.
Of her ass?
Yeah. So I let it be known, or so they can see me. Look, I am taking a picture of this.
I like your backpack.
Yeah, I know. I didn't talk to her.
Yeah,
that would have been weird.
That would have been weird. Oh yeah, that would have been fucking.
Yeah, no, but that was a color scheme I liked, so I took a picture of it.
Yeah, no, that's fucking dope. That's funny. Is there anything? Because graffiti, like we said, is very fucking punk rock. Fuck the rules. Out here destroying shit. Is there like a line? That shouldn't be crossed, like in
no schools, no churches, no federal buildings, nobody's personal houses, private houses. I personally don't touch a car or vehicle.
Yeah, we talked about those other dudes.
Yeah. They didn't give a fuck. I'm not gonna touch your car. Other than that, though,
because that's personal property.
If you got a corner house and a wood fence, that's up for grabs.
The fence?
Yeah,
not the
fence,
house.
not the house. However, I had a kid who was trying to get in with the crew that I was in because they were his cousins.
Yeah.
I got in. I was kicking it with him in Southside for the longest. I moved back to Northside, or my mom and dad let me back home, so I was there for about a month or so. He was living in Northside too. Would call them and tell them, "Oh, he's over here. He ain't even getting up. His house is the only house I rode on to prove, bitch, I'm getting up."
Yeah, you know got some paint.
Yeah. I went out and I tagged
who's not up now, motherfucker?
Tagged the shit out of his house.
Yeah.
About a week later, he ran up on me by Marine Park, trying to pull out a gun at his car. I'm just like, whatever, bitch. Do it. I wish you would.
Yeah. I really wish you would.
Yeah, his niece was in the car with him. Like, no. She knew she wasn't going to let him shoot me.
Imagine. Broad daylight?
Yeah, broad daylight. I was out skating.
How old were y'all then?
Methods 16.
16.
96.
16. Already got the burners pulling out.
Yeah. And what sucks is that kid sucked. You know what I mean? He sucked. He didn't
It's always
up.
those.
Yeah.
It's
he was
always
just toy as shit.
Yeah.
They're his cousins, and they didn't want him in this crew. So,
goddamn.
So, going over and lying on me is just stupid. So I was just like, all right,
He's trying to prove himself to.
I'll show you I'm not getting up.
Yeah. That's funny. I guess that makes me wonder, like, how do you feel, like, whenever you're going out bombing and shit, like, you got some protection on you?
No, I never
did. You got
did.
any weapons, any tools?
I never did. Like, I'll keep knuckles on me now, but I don't write. But
I've seen you with some big-ass knives.
Yeah. Who else is there whenever you see me? All right, there's certain people around where I'm just like, I gotta keep it just because, you don't know what mood that dude's in. You know what I mean? I don't know what he thinks he heard, so I just I'm just keeping it safe.
Yeah.
Other than that, so no, I never carried weapons or went out riding with anything like that.
No. You didn't feel the need to?
I didn't. Especially, no.
Even in the 90s?
Especially in the 90s.
When was it called Murder Worth?
I know. They still refer to that. I go where I live now.
Yeah.
When they ask me where I'm from, I tell them I'm from Fort Worth. They be like, Murder Worth. I'm just like, yeah. It's not that bad, or sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, it's horrible. That's why I moved over here.
Yeah. I'm a refugee.
Yeah. Or then or if they're logical or they seem to have some sense of them, I'll tell them, no, look, if you're not into the bullshit, then you're not gonna get caught up. So just don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean,
and that's really how it was. If you weren't fucking around, then you really had nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
As long as you ain't right on nobody's house, you'd be all right.
Yeah, you mentioned that, but what about the fucking garage door? If it's on the street.
No, the garage doors that's good to go.
That's good to go?
It's not the house.
Cool, because one time I hit someone's garage door, and it ended up happening to be some dude from school, like, and he was, like, talking in the halls about, like, yeah, some motherfucker hit the garage door to my uncle's house, and da-da-da. And I just overheard and shit, but I was like, it's a garage. It's good to go, right?
Yeah, no.
Like, cool. Damn.
Yeah, no, garage doors, telephone poles. mailboxes. No mailboxes.
No mailboxes.
Those blue mailboxes on the corner.
And now you say these because they're felonies?
That and come on, man, what are you gonna write on a church for? And school is what I always thought it was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to catch a tag in the hallway or catch a tag in the restroom. It's another to come back later tonight and paint or scribble on the actual school itself.
Yeah.
Especially when there's people that are gonna be like, oh yeah, he got up.
Right.
But there's a bunch of other motherfuckers that are gonna go straight to security
Yeah,
and be like, oh, that's him.
motherfucker. Yeah. Check his backpack. He has a shitload of fucking sketches. Yeah, no, you're right. Them shits ain't cool. What else did you mention?
Federal buildings, churches.
Federal buildings, churches. But they are felonies, right?
Mailboxes,
federal property.
Federal, yeah.
Isn't trains even?
I don't know too much. I never.
I don't care about the trains.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't care. It's just I didn't.
Yeah.
I should have.
I guess what gets me about them is like just the fact that it's gonna go out and.
Yeah, I thought that was cool about it. Is where, like I said, you paint a wall or scribble a wall or do whatever on the wall. Your people see it. People, whoever sees it, but the cops also see it. And it's also sitting there waiting for them to take a picture of it so they can put it in a file and just collect it all up. And once that tab gets to a certain amount, then they're going to come after you. Half the time, they know where you are. They know who you are.
Yeah,
but they're going to wait until you get to a certain amount and it's worth their time for the bus.
Because it changes like from misdemeanor
to felonies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas a train, as long as you don't get caught up, I think, there in the middle of it, it's gone.
It's gone, yeah. Yeah, because it always did something for me. Like, you're fucking having a shitty day or whatever, and at least, like, nowadays, you just get tagged randomly in some fucking train you don't even fucking remember. Probably one that you regret painting. But it still feels good that, like, other people have seen it and shit. Did Graffiti do anything like that for you? Like, just kind of scratch that... I don't know, because I guess a lot of people start like doing graffiti. Some of that stems from like wanting some sort of attention. You know what I'm saying? So is that any like motivation for you? Like, subconsciously, do you think it stems from some kind of
yeah, I mean,
wanting to be seen?
Yeah.
Sort of thing?
Yeah. When you realize that people will talk about it or see it tomorrow, it's one of the things that kept in mind when I was doing stuff was, oh yeah, hell yeah, they're gonna see this or she's gonna see this. They're gonna know it's me.
Would you paint something, go hit this place because you knew a certain someone was gonna be passing by?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's always a girl too.
It's always a girl.
It's always a girl, and she never gave a fuck.
Yeah. Oh, fucking tell me that story again about the fucking, the bully.
Okay. So, all through my elementary school, middle school, and my mom, unfortunately, would make her parents babysit us.
Right.
So, I had to stay there, and this kid would just torture me, pick on me.
What was the worst thing he did to you?
Besides punch me and hit me and slap me in the face,
word?
He would take his lunch. His mom would feed his lunch Mexican food. I don't know what they're called, but like those like chili peppers.
They're chalupas.
I guess the big ones that had shit stuffed in them.
Yeah.
And he would just throw them and just slap me in the face with them and shit. And
word.
Like, fuck. He was a big guy.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could do, other than
you're a scrawny
the first
kid.
time I ran away was from her house, from the babysitter's house,
damn it.
because this kid would not leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Then one day in high school, after I had been riding for about 2 years, 3 years, I had already been getting up. So I'd already,
So
I had
some
people knew.
street cred.
Yeah. People knew who I was, or at least,
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend, and I gave her a name, like you do when you have a girlfriend. You give her a specific name so you can write, so-and-so and so-and-so.
Yeah. You have your superhero names on the train.
He, not knowing that's what that was, he just started, he wanted to write that name.
So he started writing the name that you gave.
Yeah, that I gave the girl. Yeah.
And that was not your girlfriend. The girl?
Yeah, the girl was my girlfriend.
Oh, okay, that was your girlfriend.
And that's why I took offense to him writing her name. I knew he didn't write it because
liked
of her.
or
No. He just liked the name. It just happened. He just happened to write that name.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with her. He didn't know her. They didn't even have any. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just liked that name, and I liked it. I gave it to her. I thought it was cool. He heard it somewhere else. He liked it, so he started writing it. You know what I mean? So I started crossing them out, and I told everybody, anybody that that I in the circle that that guy, I don't care. I want to battle him. I want to cross him out every time I see him.
Battle like peace battle.
Yeah.
Like just crossing each other out. Like
back then it was supposed to be just peace battles, but a lot of people couldn't peace back then.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that started writing, they just saw that their friends were tagging, so they started tagging. They started getting up, but they wouldn't even do it for long, and they didn't go very far far as their neighborhood or their houses. Yeah. They was just something they could do at school, where they could say, yeah, I did do it. I'm good. Anyway, so it got to him. He heard that I was crossing him out, that I was wanting to battle him, that I had beef with him.
Yeah, I want the smoke.
Yeah. And this is a kid that would like just give me shit, all the time.
Yeah.
I was in history class, and as usual, I got kicked out and told to go stand in the hallway. I'm standing there, bullshitting Northside High School. Nobody else in the hallway. There's nobody else there. He walks by, and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. He's like, hey, why do you want to battle me? And I was like, why? Just because why are you writing that name? Yeah. He was like, I don't know. I was like, well, don't write that name no more. That's why. That's why I'm crossing you out, because you're writing that name. And that's why, you got to battle me. Fuck that, battle me. That's what you used to tell people, battle me,
Yeah.
Because you knew they weren't. And he was like, no, I don't want to battle you. And I was like, all right, well, quit writing that name. And he was like, all right, I'll quit writing it. And he walked off. And I was standing there in the hallway by myself, like, God damn, dude. That, I didn't have to physically defend myself. I didn't have to do anything to the kid that I've always been a little, not afraid of, but I hated to see him because I knew something was going to happen. He was going to hit me or something. And this kid basically was like, please don't mess with me.
All through just graffiti.
Yeah. Just because of,
just through being doper than him.
Yeah. And that was just cool to me. And I like that feeling.
What the girl say? Oh my God, daddy.
No, she was a magnet kid, white girl, so she didn't really care about that. I don't even know if I told her.
She hated the fact that you did graffiti. Let me fucking cancel this shit. Fucking Tarzan wanted me to send him money. Let me make sure it's still recording.
I know, like, I ain't telling these stories again. It sounded better the first time.
Third time. You're going to nail it.
You're going to nail it. Okay, fighting, picking on me, battle. It was good.
Yeah. Because it's almost full. Like 10 minutes. There was something else that I wanted. What can I ask you? We're back. Like we never left. How do you feel about where graffiti is going with the whole VR? Have you ever fucked with any of that?
No, but I've seen it. I always wondered, I was wondering here lately how some of these bigger pieces are getting done. I was like, damn, dude. And then I saw them actually step by step with that shit, and I was like, all right.
Oh, you're talking about whenever they like map it out with
map
the
it
VR?
out and stuff. Yeah,
they put like the sketch, and then you're just following your fucking.
Yeah,
that's fucking nuts, huh?
Part of me wanted to hate and just be like, fucking tracer.
Basically, it is.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's your shit, then, it's like tattooing.
You can really trace your own shit. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
What do you got to prove? You already know.
But that goes, I don't know. If you got to go through all that, then it's no longer, maybe it is, and I'm wrong, but I don't see it as like traditional graffiti or actual
graffiti, the actual essence.
Yeah.
Graffiti.
Now it's just I guess street art or just art to begin with. Just art.
Yeah.
But
'Cause-
how everything evolves, and maybe that is graffiti evolving. You know what I mean? Maybe people are going to be at the train yards with VR glasses and shit doing whole cars.
That's so fucking nuts.
It is, but it could be it. It's like the skaters
'Cause-
today. Oh my God, dude. There's tricks that I just can't even
how they
imagine
get.
why you would even attempt to stick your foot in it while it's spinning just to kick it back the opposite way and still land it all in one smooth move. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I guess you really just can't hate on where it's going, right?
Yeah,
you
you really
just
can't.
gotta roll with it.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just not. I think it's more kind of a jealousy, regret. Why didn't we fucking have that? You know what I mean?
Right, it would have been so easy.
Yeah, it was so much easier. Oh, you got YouTube videos for everything now? Fuck.
Yeah.
I had to spend hours in shin muscle bones getting bruised up.
Yeah.
Just trying to learn that trick.
Yeah. Have you gone into those ones with the fucking, because there's the tracing aspect of it, but then there's like in the metaverse. You go in the metaverse and you can do graffiti on the fucking virtual reality.
Oh, that's just weird.
It's pretty strange, right?
Yeah,
like,
it is. It's like
you'll never see yourself fucking with any of
not
that.
at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. No, I'm more of an analog sort of person.
Yeah. Do you have like any goals with like in a year? Say like I want to do this certain project and stuff like that. Do you like
I wouldn't mind being able to like piece again and just come back to Fort Worth, and whether it be permission spots or just dope spots that just come into town. Like I've always wanted to do, go out of town. Fort Worth is now out of town to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I hated about people who would come in. I'd be jealous of them because they could come in, paint everything, and fucking leave. You know what I mean? Cops ain't looking for them, and if they are, they're not gonna find them.
Right, they're gone.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I hated because like we write on shit, or when we did, they were gonna find us.
Yeah.
Unless we left.
And you never tried to like sell your designs to like I don't know, just any kind of like because like I said, you do like a lot of dope characters and shit, like to say like brands and stuff like that.
No. I've always been paranoid about stuff like that. Like, first off, I don't like rejection. I can't handle rejection at all.
Yeah.
Second, I hate
Which is dope.
I hate the idea of them being like, oh yeah, no, that's not really what we're looking for. And as soon as you leave, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, we totally fucking need this. So let's go ahead and redraw it, and whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just, the idea of something like that happening, and I just know where to prove it, or it's like, costly to contest it. It's just, fuck it.
I guess so. There's just no like monetary motivation.
Yeah. That, and I'm not motivated by money when it comes to like life in general.
Yeah.
I don't.
You could give a fuck.
I don't give a shit. Just I got a job. They're paying me. All right, cool. Fuck a raise.
Sugar mama.
I do not. I work. She makes more than me, but I work.
Yeah. I guess last thing that I would ask you is
right.
I
love my wife.
Is what would you tell yourself like if you could speak to you, when you were first starting off, like anything that you feel like sticks out that you learned and really affected how you see the lifestyle, how you approach the art of graffiti?
I guess I would tell myself not to be too hard on myself and not really care what was said or what they did, or, because I always think of it like Mark Rogowski. He was a pro skater, vert skater back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But then he lost it because skateboarding went to like street.
Yeah.
And then he just, he lost his fame. He lost his, so he did stupid, crazy shit.
Yeah.
Ended up killing somebody. He went to prison.
Oh, fuck.
Still there. And then shortly after that, fucking vert blows up again.
Damn it. Yeah.
If he would have just said, all right,
Kept
fuck
it
it. Yeah,
together.
okay, it's doing something else. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because that's what I'm doing. This is what I'm good at. Maybe, it'll pay off.
Yeah.
Whereas, instead of just, trying to keep up with everybody or trying to, oh, well, they said that was whack, so I'm not going to do that. Fuck that. I'm going to do that because that's what I'm happy doing.
Right. So just trusting
And
your
in
own.
a couple of years or so, it may be a while from now, or it may seem like a while, it will eventually catch on. I will get noticed,
Right.
But I just, like I said, I took the rejection and was just like, ugh, all right, well, fuck it then.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, man, it's been fucking dope catching up with you. Like I
Right.
said, I've always looked up to your shit, man.
Thank you.
So, yeah, appreciate you. Peace.
Got the handshake right that time.
Hey. That's why we had to shoot it again.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah, I was like, that fucking.
I could have just done that in like 5 minutes.